Alright, how's it going, everybody? This is Ismortah, and this morning, during my Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Central, in this case, board game stream, going to be showing you the newly released game from Atomic Mass Games, Star Wars Shatterpoint. Testing. Right, sounds good. Yeah, so very excited about this. This game I've been looking forward to for a while now, just because it's the crossbreed of Crisis Protocol, which was the game AMG originally put out to them after the split from FFG. It's like Crisis Protocol, which is a Marvel Tactics miniatures game, and Star Wars had a baby. This is sort of like that. So instead of thinking like Star Wars Legion, that you have armies of guys, think of this more like you're playing X-Wing. You have a few dudes against a few of someone's other dudes. And yes, you could deal damage, but it's all about completing objectives to win, because there's only 3 rounds, if I recall, in this game. And of course, if you like what you see, be sure to comment and subscribe here on twitch.tv/Ismortah. And if you have to miss the live stream, tomorrow will be the video, which you can catch on YouTube at Shadow Balance Games. Oh yeah, so the purpose today is just an unboxing video. It's a gigantic fucking box. It's huge. It's heavy. It's got a lot of plastic. And what's cool about this game, if you're not familiar with Shatterpoint also, is not only does it have miniatures, but it also has, which are actually bigger miniatures than Star Wars Legion, but also terrain. So this is actually all the stuff you can get in it, unpainted, unassembled. And, well, we take a look-see. In the Clone Wars, of course. But yeah, we'll take a look at unboxing, see what's in it. Expect a future video to show assembled final miniatures, and then maybe also in the future how to play video and live play videos and all that jazz. But yeah, the purpose today is just to show you what you get in the box. But I will refer to the rule book just to point out what some of these things are. But I will show the cards, so it should be in there as well, to show what all the miniatures you get will be, because again, they're going to be unassembled. So you may not be able to, at first glance, make out stuff when they're still on the plastic frames. Alright, let's get this baby open. So this is the core set, so this is everything you need to play the base game. There are other expansions out for terrain and other character packs of people you can play with, but those will still require the core game to play. What I'm not familiar with, because I haven't played the game yet, is if you can mix and match squads, or if just you choose an army you want to play with. That I'm not sure. I'm assuming you would be able to mix and match dudes like a X-Wing, but I'm not entirely sure. That would be in the how to play video, because that would be how to build a squad. Oh, you got some Ahsoka Tano. See her there? Some Darth Maul. What I personally like about this is this has all miniatures and characters I actually don't own in Legion at all. So for me, it's a twofer. It's not only is it a new game system, but also new miniatures I don't have. I don't have all these guys from the Clone Wars. I have some Clone Wars troopers, but not like these Mandalorians, Maldalorians, the Jedi and Sith you see here. Yes, I have some droids, but yeah, I have some droids in Legion and troopers, but as far as the Mandos, as I call it, and the Sith and Jedi, those are all new, so that's fun. That way, if you just look at, for me, if I'm just looking at this game from I'm just getting stuff to just look out on a shelf and assemble and paint, it's worth it because guys, I don't have. All right, so let's open this up. Actually, before I open it up, let's see if there's any cool pictures on the sides. Here's one of Bo-Katan, which is pretty cool. I'm sure these are all just picture grabs from the actual character cards, which we'll see here in a sec. Another look at the back, try to get some closer shots, just because they show the miniatures painted and assembled, so you can see them all in action. And you see it's a tactical game, so it's think of like Infinity, just because you can go up, or like Crisis Protocol, whichever you're more familiar with, they can go up onto objects, interact with objects, I'm assuming as well. Yeah, we'll get closer shots on the character cards, which I'm sure have that same art. Right. So initially when you open it, looks like they have a board that is advertising Star Wars Shatterpoint. But when we look on the back, it looks like it has dual purpose, not just a cool presentation, but also it's a art backdrop. And this is just saying how you assemble it. So what does that mean? That means, so like, for example, me, if I'm going to, in the future, be showing assembled miniatures or painted, you can have backdrops like Shatterpoint and have your miniatures in front of it. So it's a cool backdrop, a cool background for it. Oh, so it looks like this is another backdrop. So these are just different backdrops for your miniatures, for taking pictures of them. Or like say, just have them on a shelf. Like I currently have mini miniature. That's pretty cool. All right. So now we have stuff. It looks like here we have a bunch of tokens, which I don't know the meaning yet. That'll be in the how to play video. Some of them have an alternate side that's different. If I had to guess for these, I would have guessed it's just showing if you've taken your turn, considering it's on and off color, would be my guess. Kind of like Crisis Protocol. Here is the rule book, which is a little substantial. I'll probably definitely go through this in the how to play video. But it looks like it's got a bunch of cool art and stuff. So I'll flip to a few pages. At least showing you some of the cool art and the content. I'd like some gameplay we'll save for a future video. So here is the content list, Sub-Zerkan, of what's in the box. 16 miniatures, 23 terrain pieces, 14 dice, a bunch of other tokens and cards and trackers and stat cards, etc. Yeah, so that, what I pointed out were objective tokens, see in the upper left. Here's an example, which I'm sure I'll have more shown in a sec, of the unit cards. That's kind of a cool idea that on one side you have a bigger version of the art with some common stats, and the opposite side you have all the abilities. That's a cool way to do it, so you actually can enjoy the art and have a quick reference of abilities if you know how he plays, whereas on the other side you can learn how to play the character. That's a pretty cool design. That's a good idea. My only critique is these same stats should also be on this card, just so if you wanted to have the side out for learning purposes, you could see everything at once instead of having to flip it. But that's really my only critique. But it's a good, cool idea having both. Kind of like magic cards, and if you're learning the game, you want all the words. But that's why I like Arena. Like, you kind of like see information when you need it. Like, hey, how much does it cost? How much damage you're doing? But then also, you can expand the card later from a box to rectangle to see, okay, what are all the special abilities of the card. Like I said, I'm not going through all the minutia of how to play because that'll be a featured video because this is a large book. But I just want to show some of the highlighted stuff and some of the art in particular, which is pretty cool. Really just the art and what you get. Like Doug said, this unboxing video. It's got a lot of different pictures to show visually what the fuck they're talking about, which is always nice. And little tips, which looks like it's Ahsoka Tano giving you tips, which is cool. See, like for example, here you have some more tips, but then rules, but then interrupting with tips from Ahsoka. Here's some more cool art. Pictures of at the actual game, so you can see movement in different scenarios. So that's good stuff. Good guides. As you can see here, a lot of pictures. But yeah, it's a pretty sizable book. Like for a rule book, it's 40 pages. I'm sure it's a mix of how you set up the game, how to assemble, and then also how to play. So it's not all of it's how to play, but it's also a new game system, so definitely take a look. I'm sure it's more complicated to just get familiar with the game than it is to actually play the game itself, I am sure. Probably the same level of complexity as, like, say, Crisis Protocol, if you play that, which is the Marvel Tactics game. All right, so then you have, looks like just a piece of cardboard, but it's cool. It's all spacey. Again, like this is something you can use as a backdrop for playing or for a lot of things, actually. Like even for like X-Wing, you can say, oh, it's a little starship space. I mean, you need a lot more space to play X-Wing, but you know what I mean? Like some of these things could have potentially dual purpose for other mediums. But that was probably just to protect the card from the plastic, which could damage. So here it looks like there's a lot of plastic here. I'm not going to go through the minutia of all the plastic, only because I don't know what all the pieces are for what. But we'll just show you what you get. So it looks a lot of plastic. And it looks like there's stuff underneath as well we'll get to in a sec. So these look like pieces to put together the buildings. Before I get to that, I just noticed this, which I didn't notice when I first opened, is just some cool art all around once you open the box on the inside wrap here, which I'll show you. Here are, looks like the Galactic Republic dudes, assembled and painted. It's pretty cool. Because this, you get both factions, so two people can play the game. All right, and here's all the units in particular. It's pretty cool. So you can see what you're getting. Like I said, me showing you the plastic isn't necessarily gonna whet your appetite just because you don't know how the shit's built or what the final form's supposed to be. And here is the, I have to see what the faction is called. I believe it's the Shadow Collective, if I recall. But it's Darth Maul's faction. But if anything, you'd say the Separatist is probably more correct. And here's all those units. So that's pretty cool. I did not notice this when I first opened. Yeah, I remember this dude. This one of the last dudes I got recently for a Legion. It's like a commander bot for the Separatists. It's not one of those generic bots that just shoot. It's a leader unit, so it's got a brain. It commands the Roger Roger. All right, so let's see what's underneath. Again, this is interesting cardboard to keep because these can have dual purpose to use for later things, like said backdrops. But it looks like we got even more plastic. But wait, there's more plastic. Oh yeah, so there's plastic here, plastic here. So what do you get in this? So yeah, let me finish going through this. This looks like bases for your various dudes. Bases as in what you put the miniature on to have it stand up. Not like any attack a base. These are sides of buildings or stairs or something. So let's get out the piece so you can see. I'll repack it later. But I'm not going to obviously punch anything out because it's going to be a bazillion pieces, and you kind of want to punch stuff as you go so you know you're assembling the right thing, because a lot of these things look familiar. Different size bases. These are bigger. You can see. By a smidge. Got some more, looks like load-bearing pillars and ladders for the environment that you'll make. A lot of plastic. That's definitely what you're paying for. Like you said, there's some punch, and I'm sure there's other cards and dice probably buried in between because we saw that in the rule book. But a lot of plastic. More pieces to stuff, which it's going to take me a while to build these. Actually, it's even possible that when I do my assembly video, when I show you final units, I'll probably do one army at a time. Or even maybe the terrain separately, just because it looks like it'll take a while to build all this stuff. But anyway, it looks like this first package, the majority of it looks like is for terrain and character bases. This is what it looks like. The second one, wow, there's even more shit down here. Crazy. Looks like it's the actual meat and potatoes. Like these are like support stuff to make the attractive surrounding, but this looks like it's the meat and potatoes, the larger pieces for the terrain, and also looks like some of the frames for the dudes you'll be building. It looks like there's a third one at the bottom here as well. So I'm just trying to separate these two masses of shit, the plastic, so I could kind of put it back later. So you see, it's just a lot of pieces. And like I said, I recommend keeping them on the frames or sprues, however you want to call it. The technical term is actually a frame though. Because it'll tell you where to go for each piece. Because like I said, some of these pieces look very similar to others. And you'll see if you look close enough that they're labeled on the inside of these frames like A10, A7, so you know which one to pull from. Alright, so I'll stick these back here. So I'll show you all the different frames here. A lot of plastic. You want plastic, you're getting plastic. The trick is to keep and cherish and play with the plastic and not throw it away. With the exception of this, but I'm not sure you can recycle these larger bags. These larger bags, once you assemble stuff, is also interesting just because, like I said, you could repurpose this for something else. It's a big plastic bag. You could use it for something. For carrying groceries, I don't know. I don't know your life. All right, so it's plastic bag number 2. Number 3, it looks like that's the last of the plastic bags of plastic stuff. It looks like it's more terrain. But I hear some smaller pieces as well. But yeah, like in case I wasn't clear, like so you get terrain to play on as well. So you won't have like a game mat unless you want to use, maybe use these as a game mat to something. I think you need a large play space, but you guys will be jumping on terrain, but I probably would still play on some sort of surface as well, like a game mat. This stuff doesn't slide so easy. All right, so it looks like what was rattling around were some of the your measurement tools. You're like, what? Am I playing a game or am I building something? Well, you're kind of doing both. You have these measuring tools, I call them, just because this determines range when you're playing the game. And you see they functionally look different. Like here you see a blaster for long range. And here you see, looks like throwing grenades, closer range, thermal detonators. Here you see lightning, possibly, force power. And I'm not sure what this is. I'm sure it's just some sort of placement measuring tool, and then this is a piece or something. There we go. Oh, yeah, go. I think it's for actually moving your units, because you can say, you know, it's here, which way you want to move it. It's to this end. But this piece looks weird. It almost looks like a blade in itself. Like, that'll be in the how to play. What do I do with this stuff? All right, so then we got some more frames of stuff to build your awesome levels. Stuff back here. Some more, here we go, and here's lightsaber range, close. And another movement tool. This is longer range. Some more structure pieces. And that, I believe, is all of the plastic that you can paint in the game. Lastly, looking at the bottom here, there's, another section. What? More cardboard, which you might be able to repurpose for other things. Me being a game designer, I definitely will repurpose it just so I can have ideas for packing or display or, like I said, the first ones are actually cool backdrops. All right, so it looks like you got other things. Here you got the dice. Which have symbols. I don't know what they mean. We'll learn that in a future video. We have little cubes. Black and one clear. Let's be interested to see what those are used for. I'm assuming these are resource tokens of some sorts. Would be my guess. All right. Here you have a tracker, which that's probably what the cubes are used for, placed in here. So I have to say, I don't know like how this tracker is used. Maybe this is how you determine who wins the game. But I'm just always a fan of, I call it double punched cardboard. It's so nice. What it is, it's when you have two cardboard pieces, like for example, this cardboard here, and you either have it be two pieces glued together, or a piece that you're cutting into. Commonly, it's having two pieces glued together. Why I like it is because it allows you to slot. So if you see here, like say I have a number 2, instead of this, if this is a single punch, you would just slide on the 2, and then if you move the board, it can move somewhere else. Like, what was I at? I don't know. It slots in place, which is pretty cool. That's why I'm a fan of it. Plus, it adds like a 3D element to a piece that would otherwise be flat. So this makes more sexy, you know. But it's cool. I was not aware that there would be a tracker to this style in particular. All right, then we have a bunch of cards. So this is how I'm going to end my stream, is showing you each of these cards one by one, so you can see, hey, what are all the different things you can do and what all these different characters are and their abilities. Because all part of the unboxing. What is all the shit you get? Now, as far as how you min-max and build an army, that'll be in a how to play video. Cool. And again, if you like what you see, be sure to comment or subscribe here on twitch.tv/Ismortah. But if you catch this later, also you can do the same on YouTube at Shadow Balance Games. So it looks like these are two different size cards. These look like a tarot size type card. We'll see what those are here in a sec. And then it looks like the unit cards are these larger pieces. Which is good because that means you could fit all these different abilities on the card. And you can read it. That's one of the things I actually hate about Magic, is they have cool abilities on a very small LCG size card that you can't fucking read. Especially you can't read at distance and upside down when you're playing another player. That's actually bad design. It's just historically what they've always done, so they keep doing it. But this is cool, because you can read it at a distance, and even in front of you, you can read it at a distance. Especially you. Like, well, another player will be able to read it upside down? Of course not. But there are symbols, and that you could read upside down. Because when you see a symbol, you're like, oh, it's something you could do during that step, at least. But definitely that's something why in board games, why if there's something in a common space that everyone needs to see, it should always be done with icons or colors or shapes, because that's universal. It's trying to read text at different angles that is an eyesore. Or if you see images that you know is supposed to be right side up, you look at it this way, it's an eyesore, right? And you could argue, well, I've played board games before and had fun. I'm sure you have. But it doesn't make it any less of an eyesore. Would your experience been better if you could see something that was more appealing? Of course. And my argument to support that is, if you see any video, you never see videos of, hey, let's play Shatterpoint and show it like this, right? Because it's not appealing. All right, so I'll show these last, only because I know what they are. Let's discover together right quick what these smaller tarot-sized cards are. So look at the backs. You have once the Shatterpoint. Oh, actually, some of these do have two sides. Some of these are single-sided. Right. So I'll show both as we go. So the first set of cards look like they have a common back. Actually, no, that's not true. Some are 3, some are 2, and some are 1. So maybe these are cards that are only available initially, and then after round 1 or round 2 or round 3. Maybe. Possibly. Or maybe these are difficulty levels. I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm not sure. Not being how to play. But I'll show you what we got here. So here, I believe each round, that might be what they refer to as a struggle, is each round is a struggle, maybe. Let's see here. This looks like, I would guess, starting deployment, whether it's for the entire game or for the round. This is for 1. Recon enemy positions. Locate the asset. We're going to need a new exit. So much for the element of surprise. We've been double crossed. Like I said, I don't know what these symbols mean. That'll be in how to play. I'm assuming this is some sort of setup. Just showing you what you get. That's level 3, whatever that means. Commandeer a new ride. Learn to English. Blast our way out. Cool. And I believe one of these was double-sided. I thought I saw that might be these other cards. Yeah, all right. So the next batch, it's like Gremlins, a new batch. That was a sad movie. All right. See what I got here. Oh. Oh, shit. Wow. You know what? The second batch of cards is actually all just art cards. So here, like, see, all these backs are the same. They just say Shatterpoint. And on the other side, there are no rules whatsoever. They're just the art. So that's pretty cool. So you can just have these collectible cards of the different art without, for example, like a Sokotano, all the shit. It's just an art card, which is kind of what this is too. But that's pretty cool. So you just have art cards. Oh, these are the activation cards? Cool. Thanks, Cosmic Cubicle. But yeah, it's pretty cool. The fact that it's not distracted with other shit on it. You can just say, I'm playing this dude. I think that's Gar Saxon, right? I have to look at the cards. I think that might be who that is. If so, I know I have him as a pilot in First Squadron in Armada, if I recall. And it looks like I have two of these. Cool, cool. Now I definitely look forward to getting more into how the game plays after I put the game together, for sure. All right, and then this last batch of cards. They don't all have the same back. So I'll just go through it as we go. Like I said, the meaning will come in a future video. So I'll show you what you get. By the bottom it says Sokotano Jedi No More. Looks like two different versions. Two different forms looks like when you look at the upper right. They play as the character, I'm assuming. Bo-Katan Kryze. You can do close support to build, or you can go, it looks like it's the only build she has. Okay. For Clan Kryze Mandalorians, you have Skirmish Tactics. Okay. For General Anakin Skywalker, before he has a temper tantrum, Form V Shin, which I'm probably butchering that last word. Form V de Gemso. Gemso? You can definitely correct me here or in the comments. Let's see. CC7567, Captain Rex. We got Tactical Supremacy. Red. The 501st Clone Troopers. Advanced Combat Training. It's only built for them. Lord Maul. Sinister Cunning. or Dark Rage. Uh-oh, he's getting all angry. Here, all right, I was right. Gar Saxon. Cool. Merciless Commander. We have Concentrated Assault. And then the other Mandalorian Super Commandos. Disruptive Tactics. And we have Aja Ventress, Sith Assassin, Jar Kai. I'm assuming those are combat styles. Form 2 Makashi. So that's cool. That kind of makes me think of like Betrayal House on the Hill, how you can have a character you're playing with, but you can have different variants of the character what you want to play as. So you can sort of like further tailor. It's like, hey, I want to be Anakin Skywalker, but I want to play him this way as opposed to another way. That's pretty cool. So you're not pigeonholed to, if you play a character, you always have to play him a certain way. That's pretty cool. Here we have Kalani Super Tactical Droid. There you go. I like this guy in Legion because you can also have him command your droids. And that was Cold Logic. Then we have B1 Battle Droids. Countless. Yeah, they don't have a form. It is like Roger, Roger. That's what they should have called it. It was Roger, Roger. Jeez. So I think I went through all of them. Yeah. So that's all of the different builds for the cards. So that is all the cards in the game that are tarot. The last component I have to share are the unit cards. Which you have one for every type of plastic thing you build. So these do have backs. So I'll just hold them up to the screen so you can take a look. Again, if you want to look at more detail, you can always freeze frame this video on YouTube. But I won't read through the minutia. Let you check it out. And then the other side. I don't know much about Ahsoka Tano other than she's a cool character. I've seen her in some shows. But it's interesting how it seems like she wants to do good, but that she's actually not a Jedi anymore. So that's interesting. So I wonder, like, is she taking like a gray Jedi path, or is she just, using only Jedi powers, but carving her own path? I don't know. It's an interesting character. I'm just not interested personally in seeing the Clone Wars animated series, just because I'm not a fan of the animation, even though I hear the story is good. I'm sure it's also biased just because I really liked the cartoon for Clone Wars that was made back in the day, which apparently is not canon. Is why no one talks about it, but I actually liked it a lot. Mandalorians are stronger together. Yes. You can see at the bottom there in that description, this is where the fun begins. You know, Jedi technically with their code are not supposed to have, quote, you know, emotions, fun. Which I think it's kind of a load of shit, also true, because being kind is also an emotion. But anyway. Did I give you enough time on the back? I'm sorry, I kind of don't want to short anybody. Captain Rex has a lot of abilities. I have to say, one thing I'm really a fan of is I'm using a new phone, and it's actually, the camera is way better than my previous phone. Which makes sense because my other phone was 5 years old, but it's like the zoom is pretty good. Like it's, as long as I hold it in one spot enough for it to focus, the focus corrects pretty good, which is great. That's going to make streaming live board games better, because I like to hold cards I have up as I'm playing them. This way you can actually make it out and not have the game out of focus the entire time. All right, we're about halfway through the deck. Like I said, this is also the unit cards is the last thing that to unpack in this unboxing. This just, I know, has gameplay-wise the coolest content. You can see, you know, all the cool abilities for each of your plastic dudes. Sorry. Ah! Nerve ending. Or not enough blood. All right. So that is all of the Galactic Republic. Now we're at the Separatist Army. But it could also be these are actually, you know, good versus evil, but it could be also that these are actually 4 different factions, because you could argue that you have the Separatist Army from Ventress, but then you have the Shadow Collective under Darth Maul, and then you have the Mandalorians under Bo-Katan, and then the Galactic Republic under Anakin. So that could be it too. So it could be you actually have 4 different squads, technically. But we can correct those in the comments, or like I said, when I do a how to play video in the future. Again, my next video, or several videos, will be building all these guys and the terrain, and then there'll be a how to play video, and then potentially a maybe some live plays in the future as well. So it's cool that this Mandalorian has the same ability as you saw. It was either Trooper Bo-Katan that were stronger together. I think it was Bo-Katan, just because, you know, they are both Mandalorians. So even though they have some different abilities, they should have some stuff the same as well, which they do. Mandalorian Super Commandos. And again, if you want a little more time to critique or review a card, you can always freeze the screen, especially when this is a saved video. Be my recommendation. Actually, now I think about it, I think the first time I saw Ventress was in that Clone Wars cartoon that I was referencing. I believe that's when I first saw her, because she was under Dooku, if I recall. His apprentice, I believe. Yeah, you see the actual faction here on this part of the card. I just noticed that. But maybe you could mix and match between the factions, not sure. But it looks like, or maybe, like, can you have, you know, a good faction fight another good faction? I'm assuming so. But yeah, we'll learn more about that later. And the last one is Roger Roger. Oh, man. Read the very bottom one. I hate this job. God. Ouch. I hate my life. Cool. Well, that's it. I know this unboxing video went a little longer than expected. That's because we actually had a lot of plastic to go through, and I wanted to be able to see at least the detail on these cards that have all the gameplay. Well, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about this stuff. I think my coolest component, honest to God, which probably biased reasons, is the double punch. Really cool. Well, thanks for watching. Again, expect future streams for assembled miniatures, how to play, so on and so forth. And this is Ismortah, and thanks for watching.